the yard, and I just want to show you a few trees, you know, like shade trees and flowering trees. And standing in front of you, this is an oak. This is a bur oak. That's probably my favorite tree. Okay, it needs very little pruning. The only time you prune on something like this is when there is some broken stuff on it, or when there is really some branches that are crisscross with each other. But otherwise, you leave it alone. You know, it's a tree that comes very late into leaf, but it stays in leaf very long in the season too. It's a tree, but the reason I like it, it's not only in the summer it's a beautiful tree, but even in the winter, it's got character. It's one of the trees with got character. Here is another tree of my favorite. Two trees in here. Oak tree, and this is a maple. Okay, this is a hardy maple, and again we are in zone 2B Pine View, so we call it then the city of Prince George. We can grow quite a few maples now in Prince George. In the old days there was only the Manitoba maple, I'm talking 50 years ago, but right now I think we have over probably 6 varieties of maples. This is a supersonic maple, it's called supersonic. It's good for zone 2B. So, you know, it's a young tree, it's only about 4 years old. I planted it last year. And again, you know, maples we don't prune right now, because when you do prune, they're going to bleed and you can do a lot of damage and you can even kill it. So we leave this one alone when it needs some pruning, and it needs no pruning at all for now, for a couple of years probably. So when it does need pruning, we prune it in the summer, or, you know, in the mid-winter. Okay. Then up here we have a very high maintenance tree. That's the choke cherry. We did a really good job on it last year, pruned it, you know, with a bucket truck. You can see a lot of suckers appeared after that. But this tree is very hardy. It's one of the oldest trees being sold in Prince George. It's a choke cherry, or the Mayday tree. There's 2 of them. The choke cherry gets red. They come out with green leaf and then they turn red. Beautiful white flowers. And then you also got the regular Mayday tree. Okay. But with this tree, there's a bit of a problem. Sometimes you can get black knot, and that's a fungus. And when you have that fungus, you see it in town quite a bit, you know, on some trees of the boulevard. When you see that, you have to take it out right away. And I just spotted this morning, because I keep it real clean every year. So, you know, when there is a little spot of this black knot showing up, I hope I can reach it without climbing the tree. But, you know, let's see. Then you have to take a long prunus, or you have to climb the tree. Okay. So this black knot that I'm going to show you. So we take the long prunus, extend it once. You know, really, to be honest, prunus, compared to the old days, the prices have come down. When you come to Art Naps this week, you will see that, you know, you mentioned that you have watched this pruning course, because we are 40 years in business. This year we have a lot of items that are 40% off, and we have a beautiful selection of pruners and loppers, you know, on special at the store right now for 40% off, and that's a really good price. You will see when you come in. I see if I can reach this black knot. This has a saw on it and has a cutter on it. So I don't know if I might be able to reach it, but I don't think so. Oh, I'm just a little short. Came up. So there we go. We got it. Okay. Yes. If people have a Mayday tree in their yard, or a choke cherry, this is really bad. This is a fungus. We call it black knot, or canker. Some people call it canker. It's a fungus. Water runs on it. There's a branch underneath it. Okay, it can go to the whole tree very fast. The birds sit on it, they go carry it onto the neighbor's tree, what is also, it has to be a prunus, so a choke cherry, or a plum tree, a cherry tree, they all belong to the prunus family. Mayday tree, so they can spread to the town very quickly. When you looked at River Road and Lakeland Mills, then a whole row of them, they didn't look after them for a couple of years, and they had to take a lot of them out. You also see this problem on the intersection of Highway 97 and 16 when you go into town. They cleaned them up last year, but again, I noticed that this year they had some more. This tree had a few on it, you know, about 4 or 5 years ago. We cleaned it up, okay, and now, you know, this year I only got one piece. I take this out, and now the tree will stay clean, you know, definitely for another year, maybe 2. The trees like this, you know, you should spray them with lime sulfur and dormant oil. Very, very important. Lime sulfur and dormant oil should be sprayed now, you know, before the leaves come up. You can see the tree, this tree is budding. When you look up in the tree, there's no buds on this little branch because it was already, yeah, see the buds are starting to appear. Okay, so spray with lime sulfur and dormant oil before they come in leaf, and it's very, very important. When they, just before they open up is the best time, because, you know, a tree like this can get like the black aphids and also fungus, and when you spray with the lime sulfur and dormant oil like this week before they open up, it will kill pretty well 95 to 99% of the overwintering insects and fungus in this tree. When you start spraying with this with lime sulfur and dormant oil, you also will kill this moss on the tree. Okay, moss is not too bad, but the problem is when you get a wet season and the moss stays wet all the time, then you get decaying of the bark, and that happened over here. To be honest, there was a big branch up here, and you know, there was some moss growing on here, and water just seeped into this little wound, got bigger and bigger and bigger, and suddenly the branch, you know, we had to cut the whole branch out because, you know, it would fall, you know, of course, you know, into the yard and could do some damage. So in this case, you might say, how did this tree survive? But look, as long as there's bark around it, you know, completely around it, the tree will survive. Maybe you get not as much new growth, but you know, there has to be some bark. The sap comes up from the bottom, okay? And when you want to kill a tree, it's very easy, because you just take a weed eater on a small tree and you go all the way around it, you peel all the bark off of the bottom and the tree will die, okay? So, but even in this case, you see that maybe 1/4 of the bark is gone and the tree is still completely, you know, it's putting on probably about 4 to 6 inches of new growth on this one. So that's the Mayday tree, or the choke cherry. This is a choke cherry. We got a little bit too big, so we put the bucket truck on it. We did a lot of heavy pruning. It was left too long, you know, to be honest, and that's the reason on the top you see a lot of suckers. Another really, really, really nice tree, what I have here in the yard, is another one. 3 of my favorite trees are in my front yard here, and that's the oak tree and the maple, and like I said, there's lots of maples, okay, and then the linden tree. This is the linden tree, what produces the flowers, and some people, they collect the flowers when there's a bloom, and they make linden tea out of that. That's called lipa. So it's a tilia. There's lots of different types of tilias. There's a European one and there's American one. This tree is a very soft wood. You know, I've done lots of pruning. Last year there was a branch on it. It was way too big. Okay, we were so afraid that this branch was leaning over and was going to fall onto the house. So, you know, we took a chainsaw. Of course, we supported that. When you have to cut some big branches, you know, make sure you know what you're doing when you've never done it, because you have to undercut it first, and otherwise, because when you just go from the top and you start cutting it back, and you come almost to the bottom, then the weight, of course, will look like this, and then it will peel the bark off, and you don't want that. So what you do, always you make an undercut, and then you go from the top. This branch was taken off probably about 4 or 5 years ago, but you see how they heal themselves? That's a calluses, you know, so the bark start overgrowing it, and you will see in a couple of years you probably don't even see that anymore. So this is a tree, this is a little sucker showed up, so we take that out. A tree like this had branches right to the bottom, you know, so what I do in a case like this, anything what comes down, hangs down too far, you know, I just prune it off. Like that. Okay, so stuff like this. Okay. But this one still can go a little bit like that. 45-degree angle, remember? This one, again, it comes in leaf a little bit later than the Mayday tree or the choke cherry, but it is quicker than the oak tree. Beautiful tree. This is one of the nicest shade trees. You know, when this thing is in full leaf, you can sit underneath this tree. It's like a big canopy, you know. And when it comes into bloom, okay, it's probably the nicest, you know. The smell is so fantastic, you know, so sweet, you know, and of course lots of bees, you know, the pollinators come after this one. And again, for the people who collect the flowers, you can buy the tea in the health store, you know, called a linden tea, okay, but you can make it yourself because you pick the flowers, you dry them, and you know you can enjoy them all winter long.